Hello, I am Ian, and I assume you're here to learn Blender and that you also lack any experience or have little to speak of. It is fine. If you keep working on it, it is just a matter of time before you master it. I am not a mastermind in 3D softwares, but I think I finally got past the phase of the beginner. I started half a year ago and I learned a lot of stuff. I remember my steps and I can show you the path. We won't create anything specific in this video. First, I want to show you how to navigate and use the tools so you could create your own art pieces. I assure you that you will not remember everything. It is impossible to remember so many technical stuff as a beginner with no background in the application or 3D programs. It is natural, we are human, learning takes time, so save this video somewhere and check on it again when you remember what you want to use from it but forgot a keystroke or menu, or any other steps that you tried to do by yourself but could not manage to. Don't only do it with my videos or any other specific person's videos. I am not the only channel with Blender tutorials, and your role model isn't either. In fact, this being the only free and competent enough 3D program with everything included, it has the biggest amount of tutorials and courses in the industry, both free and paid. I personally learned the most from Blender Guru, Josh Gambrell, Royal Skies LLC, Default Cube and CG Matter, which is the same person I think, Grant Abbit, YanSculpts, FlippedNormals, IanHubert, and Daniel Krafft. But I also did not shy away from searching for any niche thing on YouTube and following random people. I even created a YouTube playlist for myself called Educational Videos, in which I put all of the tutorials that helped me or that I've seen in my feed that I was interested in but had no time for. When I finish my projects and feel like I don't know what to do, I just follow those. In my experience, I usually watch something once to understand the workflow, then start a project and try to recreate it, or, even better, do my own version of it with the knowledge that I got from the video, then realizing that I forgot a step and my object looks totally different and searching for that specific part in the video that I've watched to fix it. I also have a pocket notebook in which I note new keystrokes that could prove themselves useful and visit the same keystroke when I need it, until I remember it perfectly. I could give you my notes, but I'm not going to. Like Ralph Waldo Emerson said, it is all about the journey, not the destination. Giving you everything to copy paste or download link for a PDF that you will never open won't teach you. The point of it all is for you to remember. And I feel like the most effective way is to make notes yourself, over my video and all the other ones on the internet. You will have enough to note down from this video itself. This also applies for the video playlist that I have. I will not overwhelm you with tons of videos that you will probably not even be interested in. You should get creative, try to do different techniques, search for stuff that interests you, for objects, and most importantly, fail. Failing makes you seek improvement, meanwhile success only gives you some satisfaction. So maybe this would improve your mood the next time you fail. You will not achieve success without failing, so don't feel bad when stuff goes wrong. Don't get demotivated, don't stress over it, you have no reason to. As I said before, it is just a matter of time. The more time you spend learning and practicing, the better you get. You will not become the best overnight. Absolutely nothing works like that. This is not the Matrix, and you are not Neo. Someone with more experience in Blender will do things faster and better than you. Just try to have fun, and when you struggle, ask for help in one of the many Discord servers or forums if you're okay with slower answers. Anyway, now that we know how, let's start learning Blender. Alright, so this is what we see when we open Blender. We have a lot of options to click. This can get a bit overwhelming, scary. It's not. Let me explain what everything is. So, Before moving to this big part, I want to tell you about the layouts. That the layouts decide what thing is put on this big side of your screen. We are on layout, which is a mix of multiple things. You see, we have this thing on the right with a lot of options. We have the animation thing below, which we can also click on the corner and drag down to dissolve because we don't need it right now. We have the tools and the viewport, but you can also move it to modeling, which is the same thing without the animation. I never click on this, I just close that animation thing. We have sculpting, a lot of brushes here. For sculpting, we need the topology. We can't really do it on a normal cube. I will show it to you later. UV editing, which is like cutting an image into shapes so we could wrap them around and stick them so 3D objects have images on them. We could actually put some... Wait a bit. Let me obtain an image. Alright, I'm back. Here I got Mr. ex-president of the United States, Barack Obama. We cut his image, and the things that show on the cube are the faces that we see here. We can scale, we can move, see? And stuff will change depending on what we do, just as a quick example. Okay, texture paint, we can paint our images. I never actually use this, but it can be useful if you want to edit your pictures a bit. We got the shading tab. Here I put the image so I can see the Obama. The shading tab decides the materials. The materials are the things that give color to objects, that decide how the light reflects. Because you know, colors in real life are light, and yeah. Okay, animation. Here we insert keyframes, all channels, right? Location. We can move it around here and apply another. Oops. Wait. I should have moved it. My bad. Haven't animated in a long time. And let's copy this. Yep, and now if we play it, you see, we animated the cube. Well, let's go further. Rendering, I don't know what this is. I guess it shows rendering. I'm never using this tab. Compositing. This is like color editing after you are done with the thing. It's the process that works with the image after it was rendered. You see, you click on that use nodes and you can put stuff in the middle so you differentiate the final render from the thing that you save on your computer. And scripting. You don't get into this. This is a whole new thing. It's about coding. You will sell your soul to the devil if you get into this thing. I never used it. Okay, now that we know what overlays are, let's get into the layout. This is the thing, the place where we will spend most of our time in. We have a digital world made out of axes. This green axis, which is I, the X axis, the red one, and Z, which is vertical. You see, you have that globe there. You can navigate it if you move it around, but don't worry, this is a hard way to do it. It's just an option. If you want to move around, you use your middle click to pivot around the object. And if you want to move by side, you keep shift pressed and drag with middle click. See? Rotate, shift, middle click, shift, middle click, and so on. Yeah. After, also if you press dot on the numpad, you can select the pivot point, which is the thing that your camera rotates around. You see? Camera, this is the camera, by the way. The thing that renders, not the viewport, that our eyes, not our eyes in the application. This is light. Okay. Now, this is object, mesh. You can move it around, rotate it. But most importantly, we need to be able to edit it, to make like cuts into it, or extrude it, or model it however we want. For that, we need to go into edit mode. This is object mode. This only allows us to modify the way the object stays in this digital world. Edit mode is to edit the verts of the object. What are verts? Verts are those points which are connected into faces, so we could see the shape in the 3D world. So we can press on that and click on edit mode. This is actually a hard part. I'm showing this to you just because it has more things. It has sculpting, vertex painting, weight painting, and texture painting. I only ever use weight painting and pose mode for bones here, so I don't really click on this and select another thing because this is very tedious. I just press tab. By pressing tab, I can switch fast between object mode and edit mode. Okay. Edit mode. You can now see the verts that form lines between each other, and when there are more, they create faces. What I'm gonna show to you right now is how to move them and how to rotate stuff and scale. So in edit mode, also in object mode, but I'm gonna show it to you in edit mode first. You can press G to move. Also, this is not that accurate. So remember when I told you about those X's, Z, I, and X? Well, you can press them on your keyboard, X, to lock them on a specific axis. See, Z and I. So you only move them on those points. Rotate. You can't rotate one single vert, so I'm gonna select one more. How do I select it without deselecting the last one? Well, I select one, then keep shift pressed and click on another one. Then again and again. I can do it however much I want. I just need to keep shift pressed before clicking. Well, now if I select at least two of them, I can press R from rotate with whoever I want. Also the same. I can press Z, X, and I. Well, I can't rotate them on I because it's you can't do it. They are on the same coordinate on the I-axis. Okay, now scaling, the same. So G is pretty weird because it doesn't come from movement, but R comes from rotating, so it's pretty easy. Well, S is also S from scale. It's also pretty easy to remember. You press S and see, you can scale stuff. If you select multiple stuff like those, see the opposite sides. By the way, to select through the object or select everything through the object, well, you see, if you don't X-ray, you can't select the stuff in the background. What I used is Control Z. See, you also have this X-ray thing here. You can toggle it by clicking. You don't really have to use the overlay though, because keystrokes are an advantage of this program against other 3D programs. Well, even if you can't remember, you can, as I said, you should note down the keystrokes so you can use them later. And you can also see it. See, below the X-ray, you can see shortcut Alt-Z. Well, I can select multiple stuff, press S and scale. See, I can press Z, X and I. Also, I can scale on everything or rotate on everything except one specific axis. This is I can do it by holding Shift and pressing an axis like Z, you see? I rotate it on everything except for the Z axis, or Shift X to scale it on everything except on the X axis, or Shift I for the same thing but on the I axis. Well, I was rotating, I think, not scaling, my bad. Okay, well, till now we only selected verts. You see, it's pretty tedious to select all of those 4 verts for a face, or 2 verts for a line. You see, we can not only select verts, but we can select edges and faces. For this, you see, we have those 3 things here, but we don't need to use those because the shortcuts for those are really easy to remember. So 1 for verts, 2 for edges, and 3 for faces. You see? You can swap between them. Now you see verts, the points, now edges, and when clicking on 2. And by clicking on 3, we see faces. Also, if we have something selected and then switch the way to see it, we can keep the selection of them. See? I can swap between verts, edges, and faces by just clicking on 1 to 3 without losing anything. Okay, now time for the fun part. We can finally start to edit the shape of this thing. And I will tell you some really important keystrokes. Well, the ones that I told you till now were also important, but now it's the fun part. All right. So we can edit the structure of it. So let's select this face. We will start with I. I intrudes a face inside another face. So we can do this thing and then I again and I again. As many times as we want, yes. We can, by the way, Control Z as in every creative app undoes, but we will keep 1. Okay. Now, we selected an edge. We will do Control B to bevel. Also, one fun thing about bevels is that, you see, we can do it with only 1 cut, but we can use our scroll wheel to increase the number of cuts. See? We can also bevel the entire thing, so we can start from 1 and scroll up till we have more. So you see tab, I click tab to move into object mode because it's easier to see. We can see it more clearly, yes. Also, we can only bevel edges like this, but you see, if you want to bevel a single vert, you can use Control Shift B, see, to bevel it, and like you can get some really nice designs with this. Because if you try on Control B, it won't do anything. Sorry. E, the best part yet. Okay, so let's select this face. E extrudes. See? I can select whatever face I want, and by clicking on E, I can extrude on the direction of the face, or no, if you want to move it, you need to first click to apply and then press G to move it. Yeah. This is the thing you will use most of the time. It's a very important keystroke. It's one of my most used keystrokes. E. Okay. Control R. I don't think I can do it in a clean way. Oh, I can. I will show it on this thing. See, Control R analyzes your topology, which is the way your faces are put together, and makes a loop cut. So you see, you can use those loop cuts to separate faces. So this was one single face, but now we loop cut it and we have two faces. So you can do it if you want to extrude it, like if you want to have something like this without also extruding this. So we loop cut this thing and we press E to extrude this. Yes, Control R is pretty based. K. K is a tool which is knife, which is very important for topology. I will tell you about topology a bit later. Okay. By this we can cut faces. See? When we are done with our design, we press Enter. And now we cut faces into the shape we wanted. Also, I selected them between verts, but you can also cut it inside, see, like this, if you want to go for this. Enter. Now we cut this. This also works. It's just that it's bad topology, but well, we'll get into that later. J. J is to, well, we first need to go back into vert mode. We were into edge. J can cut two verts together. So if we want to separate this part from this triangle, we can select the verts and press J, and this will cut it. You see, again, like loop cut situation from before. If we want to extrude it, but we also only want the triangle, we cut this, we select the triangle and extrude. Okay. I think this is it from the important keystrokes. I showed you bevel, I showed you how to extrude, loop cut. Let's explain you some topology. Okay, I will create another object, cube, here. Okay. So, if you ever played a video game, which you probably did, you must know that sometimes you get weird renders of stuff. It's because topology isn't made very well. Usually this happens in low budget games. Those $1 stupid shit that you buy for the meme of it on Steam. Well, this is because the objects are not made in a good way. Usually you create stuff with 4 verts, which is one face with 4 verts and 4 lines and one face. And the video game engines triangulate them, which means they split those faces into two to make two triangles. Video games work with triangles only. So to keep it clean, even if you don't want your objects to be in a video game, you must get used with the fact that you must keep your topology clean, which means quads, no n-gons. What are n-gons? N-gons are faces with more than 4 verts. So if we subdivide it, see, you can select it and right click and you will get this menu with a lot of stuff. Well, if we subdivide it, we get an n-gon. See? So if we move it around, you realize that it doesn't really make sense. The engine bugs, it doesn't know what to do. And it makes weird stuff. If we move it in a way like this, we can move around and not understand what's going on. This is a problem. So to avoid the shading errors, just keep it clean. If you want, like, this is very bad topology, an example of it. Here, this face has an n-gon, those 4 verts plus this one. The same for this one. This has those 4 plus this one. The same. No, this part is actually well. If you want to extrude on a part, don't do this. You need to finish it in a loop, like delete it. Also, one more keystrokes, which is really important. To dissolve an edge, you press Ctrl X. You can also do it in vert mode. Oh no, you can't. You can't do it in vert mode. I'm sorry. If you want to extrude just this face, you need to finish your job and not only make the cut there. You need to make the cut till the end of it. Then select this part to this. You can also bevel it. You see, bevels don't only work on edges, it also works inside. We can, you see, scroll and make this stuff. Well, you can also bevel it if you want to change the position of your stuff, and yeah. This is an object with good topology. It only has quads, which are, again, faces with 4 points. This is some very technical stuff. You will probably not follow this as you are a beginner now, but it will, just the fact that you already know some basic stuff about it is gonna help. Well, now what? What are we gonna do? I don't know, because I didn't prepare anything yet. I don't know when you're watching this video. Maybe I have other videos on my channel. Maybe I just posted it. Well, I think the best way for you to start is to go to Blender Guru and watch the donut tutorial on YouTube. Because I started with the donut tutorial and millions of other people started with the donut. You don't care about the donut. Well, no one cares about the donuts themselves. You don't watch tutorials to do the specific object that it teaches, because you're not gonna find a tutorial on everything that you want. Also, as an artist, you want to create something new, something that has never been done before, and for that you need to absorb the workflows and techniques of other people while making other objects. So you go to that donut tutorial. Why is that? Because it has a lot of tools. Blender Guru explains a lot of technical stuff and theory stuff, and he is pretty entertaining also, so it's not boring for you. You can finish the Blender donut tutorial in like 1 or 2 days of work. It's not a big deal. Also, you can only follow the donut if you want. That's what I did. I got bored after 2 levels and gave up on the cup of tea and on the animation and on the environment. This is not anything to follow, but well, if you get bored and really don't want to do it, and you think that if you follow it you will lose interest in Blender, just be happy with your donut. Go on the YouTube search bar and search for stuff that interests you, like how to make a sword in Blender or how to make a character in Blender. Even though I don't really recommend you to start with characters. They require rigging and weight painting, a lot of topology stuff. It's pretty complicated, even for me. Well, good luck. I hope this video helped you a bit. Now, as a homework for you, I want you to try all the keystrokes that I teach you, from moving around with G or rotating. You see, I changed the shortcuts of those things. You see, if you press S right now, you will be able to move around and scale them. But I have this gizmo. For this, you can go to scale here. If you don't have this bar, you probably pressed T by accident. T hides and unhides it. Well, you go there, you press on change shortcut and press S. You go to rotate, change shortcut R. You go to this G, press to this and press G. Now you will get this gizmo wherever you swap between them, and it's for me at least it's easier to navigate. Well, try to move the objects a bit, try to go into edit mode and back by that option, and also by tab. Try to bevel, try to intrude, try to loop cut, try to, well, yeah, bevel, I said it, I guess. Try to scale in edit mode, try to change between verts, edges and faces. Yeah, I guess that's it. Oh yeah, try to use your knife and well, see, this is a problem I always have. I never press enter, I press right click and it never applies. Try to use the J thing to cut between verts and make a topologized, well topologized object, like something like this. See, a loop cut. And then I intrude this. Only quads. Yeah, just for practice. This is what I call toy making. Making a lot of stuff with the same technique to get the hang of it. I do it for hard surface. A thing with add-ons, it's pretty complicated for beginners for now. Just do the beginner stuff. Learn from tutorials. I wish you good luck. I hope this video helped you. I hope I didn't waste your time. And yeah, see you in the next video. Bye bye.
5 hours later.
A liar I am. I forgot to show you the things on the right. Oops. Well, I don't want to keep you over time, so let's get through it real quick. Well, this is the list of your objects. Also, if you have stuff parented, like the camera, if you Control P, by the way, to set parent to object, you will have your camera under your cube as children, which means that if you move your cube, your camera object or another object that you parent to it will move after it. But if you move the children, the parent doesn't follow the children. Only the children follow the parent. Well, okay. Now, this is everything for this thing. Really, you can hide, by the way, but you can also do it with the H key and Control H to unhide. Well, okay, this one. Those are the tools. I never really use this, don't worry. Render, you will usually want to render with cycles. See, this is Eevee. Real-time rendering, you see I can move it and everything looks smooth, even if I simulate this lighting. Cycles looks grainy, but it's more realistic, because if we add a plane, scale it, move it a bit down, see? Ray tracing, it moves a bit slower. Okay. You can also edit the thing to GPU compute. You just need to go to Edit Preferences and where was it? Let me guess by just randomly pressing. Here at System, you will have none. You need to go to CUDA and click on both of your stuff. Okay. This thing are the render dimensions, properties, where it will get saved. But you can also save after rendering, like render image. See, it renders like this. Another window gets opened and it starts rendering. I should have rendered it in Eevee so it would be faster. Well, okay. It renders through the camera, by the way. You just go to image and save wherever you want on your computer. Okay. Wait. You can also go there and view render. See? Save. I can do whatever I want. Now, those are the settings. The only ever time I use it is to go to denoising data to activate it. See? Go to compositing. See? Use nodes. Search. Denoise. Just as a bonus, I teach you this. Just do this. Don't think about it. Just put noise image in image, denoising normal to normal, and denoising albedo to albedo. In the denoise, by the way, you add stuff by Shift A and delete by X. Okay, even here, even in nodes. The next one, scene. Here you select the camera. I don't use it for anything else. World, you select the strength of the lighting from the world. You put a HDRI. You change the color of the environment. Okay. Those are the object properties. See, it shows that it is transformed by location and scale here. There are a lot of settings here. I don't use them that often. Modifiers, this is the most important part. You can add modifiers to your object. You will use this a lot, like mirroring. You can mirror on you can mirror based on another object or on your object itself. By default, it will mirror from that point. You see that point, which is the geometry point. If you edit your object and make it smaller or something, you see, and your object or your origin is not in the middle, you can right click sort origin to geometry. But right now it will mirror based on your origin. Mirror is really important. You can also use that eye droplet thing, and select on which side of it would be mirrored. Yeah. This was just mirroring. You can also solidify, which thickens it. See, makes it mesh. Like from one single very thin thing, it makes it to a solid thick wall. It is more visible on the plane. See, you can. It was just a plane, very thin, and now we can solidify it. The thing you're gonna use very often is Subdivision Surface. It subdivides faces. From one face it made 4. You can make it more to 16 and multiply it till it looks very smooth. You can also shade smooth to let it be smooth. Okay. Bevel. I use this a lot. This bevel stuff, you can set it to 3. Go to shading and harden normals, so it looks decent. By the way, you need also to smooth it to use harden normals, and go to this thing, to normals and auto smooth. Yeah. Now see, from one single boring cube you make this beautiful beveled cube. You can increase the bevels and decrease them and everything. Okay. What else do I use? Arrays. So you want to duplicate them in a specific order and you don't want to do it by hand. The arrays does it for you. And yeah, a lot of other stuff that you will learn by time. Don't worry if it looks scary. I have 1000 hours in Blender. I don't know what most of those does. Just relax. Particle system. You can do hair by this, or sprinkles. In the donut tutorial you will learn about that. Physics, I don't know much about it, but you can basically make this one point that will spawn water, and you can create a bigger cube which will be the vase for the water. And this requires a quite beefy PC, so I don't know a lot about it. I don't really mess with it. Constraints are also based on physics, on the simulations. Vertex groups, a bit on that too. Or bones, I mostly use it to auto smooth here. Materials, the most important part. You see, here are the ways of the viewport. The first one is the wireframe, the second one is the normal thing, which will show everything in one very boring color. The third one simulates the material, and the fourth one is the render preview. Well, this is the fastest one because you will be laggy if you have a more complex stuff in the render preview. Here you can change colors. You can go to edit mode, click plus, add new material, give it another color. Also, nothing changed because you don't have any part of your object with that material yet. You press on that one. You can also shift and that one. Select the material from that side and click assign. Also, if you want to select all the faces with this material, you click select. See, it selected everything except for the blue things. And here, select. Oops, I had those selected. Now, select. I only have the blues selected. So for the materials, you won't really edit it in this side. You will go to shading, and in shading you have a preview of it, and this big thing in which you will add nodes. Like you can add an emission thing for light, very beautiful light. Just let's delete it with X and put the emission into the surface. Change the color, increase the strength. Wait, let's make it more interesting. Okay. And see, it emits light. You can do a lot of cool stuff in the material, in the shading editor. This is the part that you will use the most, I think. And this? What is this? I have no idea. Texture. I never use this. I don't know. Well, this is it. I am sorry for forgetting this. This is my first tutorial. I hope it helped you. See ya.